Yeah, for the TTs. I went for the TT racing and then for the Manx as well. And at the Manx, one of the race teams adopted me. So I got a paddock pass for my bike. So there's all these race bikes, and there's my Harley, with a modified sidecar.
Yeah. Now that thing, well, all right, we'll get to the bike, but it was just watching your journey. You put the album together, and I was around talking with you when the release, the premiere of it, the debut, and everything since, watching you get organised with the bike. Brendan Flower built that for you, and an amazing BF Customs. I'll give him a plug.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. He's a genius.
And just your whole attack on life, and then going to Europe. It's like nothing's holding you back, is it?
No, but you see, I travelled around Europe before, so but never with being paralysed, never as a paraplegic. So it was different. I travelled around there on my own when I was young, and then I travelled around with Chris on a bike as well. So but it was different, and to be honest, it was much harder mentally and physically.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, than I thought it would be, and even the length of time. Getting ready in the morning, packing the bike. Often it was like 11 o'clock before I get going. I didn't realise. From here, and so I had this plan in my head where I wanted to go, and it sort of started going out the window because everything was taking a lot longer.
I know that before you actually started, getting the bike over there, you did try to get to Phillip Island.
Yeah.
And which was a good shakedown for the bike and yourself, and you found a few things that needed fixing.
Yeah, that's right. So there was our bolts that we bought, a sidecar sort of attaching outfit, and so you'd think it would be top quality, but it wasn't, and the bolt sort of snapped, and so I had to come back. So that's quite a long story, but it certainly sorted that out because I went down some rough roads, particularly in the south of France, and the bike and the sidecar behaved perfectly. I had a guy with MS in the later stages of it, an ex-New Zealand racer called Mad Dog, and I took him. We did a lap of the TT, and I had to have a guy on the back of me pillion to hold his head. We strapped him in, but because his head would wobble. So there's a fair bit of weight there, and the bike was just great, so it was really good. So I feel like there was some other issues I had with the hand gear change, which also
followed that.
Yeah, and that was a pain because and it was always after roundabouts and things, and I would change down. And then I couldn't change down. The gears weren't working. If your feet were working, you could do it, but I had to use buttons. So I was pulling over. I was going into Edinburgh, for example, and I was stuck in fifth. So then I pulled over by a bus stop and asked these people if they could change down for me. So I went down a fourth, and a bit further on, another bus stop, and changed it down a third. But there's always ways of getting around it. And the people that helped me all over the place, all over Europe, with that issue were just fabulous, and but we fixed it now, and it's just brilliant. So I'm looking forward. I'm going to fly over to Sydney when the bike arrives, and then I'll ride it back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you finally get to do the Cross Australia thing with it. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So we did it 20 odd times on it, before all this happened. But so again, it's different, and it's like trying to find accessible accommodation. Is quite hard too.
Well, especially in old Europe.
Yeah, so I was having a good day, and then I ended up in Calais. This was the worst place. And I saw the receptionist, and then I tried to get into the hall to get to the room, and I couldn't even get in the double doors because of this ramp and self-closing doors were sort of violent. I couldn't even get in the hall to get into the room. So anyway, some people helped me, and then there was like Africans and like the different people from all over the place, and they helped me get into the room. And then the room was dark because it was late at night, and I just bashed into the bed straight away, which knocks the bathroom door off. And then when I put the torch on my phone, I had to look around. There's just no room.
Yeah, right.
And I went back to this guy and I said, "There's no room here, mate. This isn't accessible." And he said, "No, accessible. It's on the ground floor." So it's on the ground floor, it's accessible. But I said, I can't even get. So I grab him and we go to the room, and I said, "Well, I can't even get on the bed, So he said, well, I'll take the bed out and you can sleep on the floor. So, and the door to the toilet was too small.
Yeah.
And there was no plugs for plug my electric wheelchair in, and it was terrible. Anyway, so we managed to move the bed over a bit so I could just squeeze in and jump on like the pillow and wiggle down. But and then I said, "Can you give me a hand with my bags?" And he said, "No." And then he had some pumps, beer like at a bar.
Yeah.
And I said, "How about a beer?" And so he said, no, we lost our license, they're not working. This is all broken English. I said, what about something to eat then? There's like tables and chairs. No, we got no chef, he's gone as well. So I said, right, so where do I go? So he said, you got these stairs. And I said, I can't go upstairs. So anyway, I ended up going outside, and it's downtown Calais. And opposite this place, there was like these homeless people living in the bush and everything, And I looked up the road and there was a gang of like teenage kids coming down. I thought, I feel so vulnerable in this wheelchair,
Yeah.
So I turned around, went back in. So like there was nothing to eat, nothing to drink that night. But the next morning, he said we got a great breakfast. It's huge. So next morning, go into the little cafe and it was a box of cornflakes and a stale loaf of bread between a heap of us, So. But the people who were staying there, they were remarkable because they were just trying to find a better life for themselves, from all over the place. So, yeah, I wrote a song about that too.
And you've got your guitar here too.
Yeah.
Can we hear that song?
Yeah, so I called it Hotel Despair, and really it was about, I wrote it thinking about me, but really it affects, everybody that was staying there, and particularly refugees, I was in a place called Hotel Despair. There were plenty of people staying there. They didn't have any names, just faces of shame. It wasn't their fault that they were there, stuck in this house of despair. They came from all around, nowhere else could be found. Didn't have no choice, couldn't go anywhere. The rooms were small, the beds were old. There was a window somewhere, I was told, in this place of disrepair. Couldn't find a light to make the darkness bright. Couldn't lock the door, no key anymore. Bugs running around, no food to be found. It was somewhere to sleep, better than the street in this house called Hotel Despair. This is all true, eh? They crossed the sea in a bid to be free, escaping the life that they had before, for something better that they hoped it to be, in far-off lands that they had seen in some unreality TV. No food to eat, no drink to be drunk. You're on your own like some lowly skunk, except for the people staying there. They give you anything, they give you everything to make your life not so sad in Hotel Despair. To make your life not so sad in Hotel Despair.
Oh, wow. Do they know that, you've written this song, the people that you came across there? Or is it just something ethereal that, that their story's being told?
Yeah, no, they don't know. I just sort of... so what happened was I couldn't plug anything in. Yeah. I couldn't reach the light, the switch. So I used a lot of my phone and I just wrote
right.
this down, And then it was too hard to get my guitar and everything, so I just sang it into my phone. And then later on, then I just went and put the chords to it and this and that, you know.
No, fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm still writing songs. I've written like 70 in 2 years, so it's crazy.
Another album coming out?
I could do another album easy, but I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the guys in Perth I were playing with, they're keen.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. So, how long were you on the road for while you were over there for this tour?
Yeah, 4 months.
4 months.
So 4 months is a long time, eh? And at the beginning of it, I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? You know, because it was really, it was hard, you know.
Yeah.
And because I also done it on my own, no care or nothing like that.
No, that's right.
And so I had to manage everything myself. So that blew people away. Other paraplegics that I met and other people who are aware of how hard it is to live like this. And and I got a lot of respect and I got a lot of help and all the rest of it, you know. But there was people that I met that were amazing. There was a guy with one arm and one leg in Holland riding a Harley trike, which he built. And there was another guy in Narbonne that I went down and stayed with on the Mediterranean, down southern France. And he only had one arm. His left arm was like just this chrome thing, you know. But he had a clasp on the end, which you could bolt onto the handlebar. And he rode from there to the Isle of Man. And the guy in the trike with one arm, one leg, he had just come back from Greece. So it blew me away. And then I went out, stayed with these people in Friesland in Northern Holland. And the guy was a quadriplegic. But I went out in his boat, like a 12-metre, 36-foot boat. So it was for me, it was really inspiring and encouraging, you know, to go and see people doing all this stuff. And it was just fabulous. At one stage, I had trouble with the hand control, and I couldn't figure out what was the problem. And I kept thinking of all these things that I thought it was, and I was wrong. But what happened was I was stuck on the border of Belgium in this hotel, and I've been there for about 5 days waiting for this part to arrive. It arrived. The people thought I was going to do a runner without paying. I don't know how I'm going to do a runner because I can't even walk. And anyway, I rang up these people in Northern Holland I was going to stay with who were like friends of friends.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to make it. And Rimke was at a board meeting, and she, the guy there who actually owned the business, said, what's that? And she said, this guy going to stay with us. He's a paraplegic and riding a Harley. So we said, where is he? And I'm 500 kilometres south. And he said, I'll go and get him. I'll take tomorrow off, go and get him. So this guy drove, he didn't know me.
Your friend's boss?
Yeah, 1,000 kilometres.
Wow.
And he didn't know. He rode Harleys and stuff, you know. And but he's just brilliant, you know. So that's just amazing. What a fabulous experience, you know. I felt really privileged to be doing it too, to be honest.
What you're doing though is it's turning it from being disabled to differently abled.
Yeah, that's it. I like that.
Yeah. You know, you're differently abled and you've got more challenges for your day-to-day, let alone travelling, than the majority of us do. But you just attack it. You attack life.
I don't want to let it stop me. And I feel like, you know, after that crash in Africa, that was it. I got to make my life more meaningful, like I said before. And so that's what I'm trying to do in a way, you know. And sort of, I was talking to people, because I talk a lot. I was talking to people all the time.
Hadn't noticed.
And I helped so many inadvertently that just by doing what I was doing, because they didn't think that you could do it, you know. And I said, yeah, you can, you know, but there's going to be hard days and all the rest of it. Take the good with the bad. But even though it was so difficult, it was also more rewarding, I think.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, I suppose that's the old saying, you know, the greater the investment, the greater the reward.
Yep.
You know, and the more time and effort and thought you put into it, the more you're going to cherish and actually want that reward. And the way you're going about life, watching you for the last year and a half or so since we met, has been inspiring and humbling. Because, you know, the most of the able, you know, so-called able-bodied people I know that don't even get up to half the sort of gumption and motivation that you have. Is, you know, and it makes me wonder about, you know, do we all have to have a challenge in life to actually get up and do something?
Yeah, well, a guy I know said he's thinking of chopping his legs off because he reckon he'd do more. But I don't know. I mean, we were pretty adventurous anyway, you know, before. And so in my mind, to do like that 4-month trip, and I want to try and get to the America next. That's my next thing.
Nice.
But it's I need things to keep me going. I need stuff. I can't sit at home doing nothing.
No, well, I dare say you would wither away and you know, just shrink and disappear, and that's not what you want to do.
No, and that won't happen. And yeah, like I said before, Chris would kill me if I was sitting around, you know. So she's not on this trip with me, really, you know. And yeah, I just enjoy it. I mean, I've done podcasts now. I've become friends with Canadian paraplegics, and I've done a few podcasts with them, and that's really good too. And yeah, it was. And then I played. How did that work? Oh, I played a song at this podcast.
Yeah.
And then it was going all over the place, and there was like this truckie in the States saying, "Where can I get the CD?" and all this, you know. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So no, really pleased, you know. Oh.
Don't worry, I know. That's all right. You're allowed. You're the only person who's allowed. The other thing, we've got to wind it up because we're running out of time. But the other thing that I want to say, very big muchos thank you for you, gracias, is you wore the GoldMX hoodie all over Europe and the UK.
I know. And I got my own, but this one's really good, and it fits good on a leather jacket, you know. So yeah. Everywhere you looked, there was GoldMX.
Taking it to the world. You're eternally, you know, one of the crew forevermore.
Yeah.
Bob Rees, journeyman extraordinaire in life and in on motorbikes and distance and everything that goes with it.
Can I just say about this gig on Saturday night?
Yeah, got to finish that up.
Yeah, so Saturday night, playing at the Sterling Club with
forgot about this.
Matt and Dion. And
Slim Bob
they
Trio.
really add a lot to my song, so it'll sound much better.
That's right. I did mention earlier that you are performing at this weekend with the Slim Bob Trio. Also with Short Black, which is Matt Black and Sandy Green.
That's right.
At the Sterling Club for LBK Entertainment. It's a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And get along there. We'll hear more about that during our gig guide on Thursday. But Bob Rees, thank you for coming into the studio today.
Cool. No worries.
Now, Adrian, your request, it's up next, and it's going to get us up to the news. A bit of Bob Dylan.
Oh, okay.
Now, you listen here. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Now, go away.
GoldMX.